Welcome to the Formation series. I see many faces I know and some faces I don't know. So this series has been going on monthly for about 10 years now, pandemic aside, the third Thursday of each month. And we started it as a series to kind of focus on improvised and new music in Milwaukee. And over the years, we've had performers bring in dancers. You guys have brought in various dancers, people doing video projection, all sorts of various other arts intertwined with things. And last year I realized there hadn't been a lot of spoken word incorporated, and started doing this like we're doing tonight, hopefully roughly every 6 months as a part of the concert. So the idea is, most of you are here, so you probably know, but we have 5 poets who are each going to individually perform a set along with these 3 musicians, improvising with them. None of us know it's in store yet, so that'll be fun. But on percussion, we've got Dr. Mark Mantel. On cello, Pat Reinholz. On bass, Barry Clark. First poet of the night is a friend of mine who I've gotten to be much better friends with in the last, 8 months or so. He is a host of many events in Racine and elsewhere, including the Grassroots Open Mic every 2nd and 4th Wednesday at the Spectrum School of the Arts in Racine. He's got some books that are available. All of the poets have books that are available at the desk. For those of you that are interested, please support them and Woodland Pattern and everything. So without further ado, Nick Ramsey.
All right, where's Sandy at?
Right here.
If I go over, just just give me like a weird way of 5 minutes. Yeah, so 20 minutes max.
Okay, so 15 you want to get done.
I'd love to see the weirdest way we can do it. Okay, so my name is Nick Ramsey. I think I know a lot of people in here. Some good friends, some friends that have been, around for a long time. Dr. Mark over here actually collaborated on an event in like 2008-ish, 2009 at the Hyde House. It was called Art Beats, Milwaukee Art Beat, and it's just kind of wild how things just, you start playing in the sandbox and we're all here together. Obviously, all the performers that are here, the poets that are here. It's just like a stacked lineup. I don't know if you're a poet or like no poetry at all. It's kind of like, holy crap. Whoa, that's a big deal. So let me just get into it. I got 5 pieces. I'm going to showcase just a variety of things that I like to do. It's kind of like a definition of myself. Thank you, Jay, for having us. Thank you, Woodland Pattern. I want to thank the carpoolers that came up. I want to thank, we had like 7, 8 people. I think 7 people came up.
From Racine, yes, Racine. We even went over to the Chiba hut and had,
not Chiba, but we had, we hunted the subs into us. Okay, so here it goes. This is kind of it's a forthcoming track. It's called Shift in the Blueprint, and it's really kind of about my operating. Ready?
Yeah.
Go. All right, let's go. Ever since 15, I've been dabbling with this dream. Freestyle rapping wherever it happened. An honest addiction. Ciphers were my prescription. When my friends gave me props now, that was satisfaction. Then at 21, I spun words into writing. Crafted poems and songs. Production came along. And what remained was recording. And performance shows, but if that was all it took, I'd have been so wrong. You see, these skilled tradesmen laid the bricks in the road and built the foundation for us to flourish and grow. You get with the movement, it's original music. Don't get confused, I've been shifting. And I heard 10,000 hours, which I thought was a joke. The first time I hopped on stage, I was like, nope. Breath control and memory. Remember to entertain. I quickly realized this isn't all fun and games. Limit your drinks before you go on. Make sure that microphone's on. Practice makes permanent, so on and so on. I watched myself and analyzed it. The changes made for seismic, but what I couldn't understand is why some people still didn't like it. You see, the skilled tradesmen laid the bricks in the road and built the foundation for us to flourish and grow. Get with the movement, it's original music. Don't be confused, I've been shifting the blueprint. What's a song? It's rap crap. And I guess I'm your little rapper. Terms of endearment. Religion was the spirit. The owners, they saw a profit. And out our pockets with coffins. We shifted from the norms, but I was fearless. Concerned with their returns. Our investments are pure. Go and claim it's a nuisance. Forget your few pence. We've enrolled and upgraded our community maps, and you know, nickel never stopped shifting this. Because the skilled tradesmen laid the bricks in the road and built the foundation for us to flourish and grow. Get with the movement. It's original music. Don't get confused. I've been shifting the blueprints. I don't want to be like all up in here. I want to be kind of out here. So
yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you. All right, so this book I put out is called Rhymes and Rambles. I'm a big rhyme fan. I like rhyming. And I like rambling. And, it's pretty simple, right? So there's only one copy of this left in existence. That's like actually for sale.
It's here at Woodland Pattern. So it's only $10 or maybe $11. I don't know. Yeah, it's like we're paying you. Exactly, right? So this piece in here was a prompt the prompt was music saves a life. And this is my wife right here. She's right here. That's Nicole Sweet. Round of applause for Nicole Sweet, please. And one fun thing about my last name is Ramsey and hers is Sweet. When you put Sweet Ramsey together, it sounds like a barbecue sauce. All right, so this music saves a life. It's kind of about like, let's go back maybe to like say like the 1700s, and I'm talking to you guys if that's cool, you know. And it's like Egypt, and basically it's about how music can save a life. You guys want to just start with anything, and we'll just go with it. I started the first one, you know. It's good to fair to share. The man's head has been placed on a chopping block. A guillotine awaits its destiny. The man's been convicted, and now there's no turning back and no convincing otherwise. But the only crime he committed was one of wonder, to experiment. And at that time, experimentation meant life lost. The Pharaoh peers down through the velvet drapes which block the view off his balcony. The balcony, which is 10 stories up and projecting outward, is one of power and superiority. And the crowd on the ground level waits impatiently for the Pharaoh to make his commencement. Among the crowd sit 3 teenage children, each with an instrument in their hand. The youngest, Jafari, tunes his cello, zither. Each peg turned slightly clockwise, then counterclockwise, then voila, pitch perfect. Ooh. The middle child, Ebony, rhythmically strings a pair of castanets around each one of her thumbs. And the eldest, Osiris, is known throughout the city as the most promising of young argul players. What is an argul, you may ask? It is a double-piped instrument.
Somewhat comparable to a clarinet. It has has the most beautiful sound. It's used correctly. But if it's mishandled,
the screeching noises can be unbearable to the listener. Fortunately, though, Osiris has the needed practice. Each of them finger their instruments in a massage-like manner, readying their tools, and then it hits. The entire mass of people erupt as if in a frenzy. The Pharaoh has shown himself. And directly below the balcony, the condemned prisoner is in a 4-point position with arms and head yoked. The gathered witnesses hush as the Pharaoh points downward with his jewelry-studded hand. A soft, slow wooden tap begins. Tap, 2, 3, 4. Tap, 2, 3, 4. Tap, 2, 3, 4. The clustered herd looks feverishly for the culprit. Enough, bellows the Pharaoh, but the tapping, it continues. Tap, 2, 3, 4. Tap. A strumming starts. It's absolute in its placement. A 4-chord progression. Something like da-dee-da-do. Yeah, it's going now, right? Still unidentified, the duo's pulse continues. The trio's pulse continues, and the Pharaoh, almost screaming now, pronounces, "Stop now, or thou shalt be next on the scaffold." The ruffling noises of the observers go silent. All that is heard are the 3 children playing their respective parts. Four measures in, 8 measures in, 12 measures in, and the concrete stature of the Pharaoh goes limp. A lone whimper, repeated by a triplet of whimpers. You see, now the Pharaoh, he was crying. And after not more than a full minute had passed, the trio stops. Still crying, the Pharaoh beckons to the executioner, "Please release the prisoner, for all he has done to deserve this punishment was experiment and wonder." And with that, the condemned was released, the crowd went wild, and music saved a life. Timing it out, 10 minutes in. There we go. I've been thinking about that worked out perfectly. I'm sorry to call you guys children and give you different names, but you know. So this next thing is a ramble. Like I said, a rhyme. I do story things. Like I try to just do a bunch of everything. And next part is a ramble. I have these 4, 5, and 6 rambles that. Just want to show this real fast. So I have this also this book here. It's called the Founder Anthology, and these rambles are in here too. But this one had 1, 2, and 3 in them, and this one has 4, 5, and 6. Now a ramble, there's no rules. It's just have fun with language. So I was going to blend 4, 5, and 6 together. You guys don't know what any of those things are anyway, so I can do little bits or not. So I'm just going to mess with it. So it's very much more about like playful, fun language. So like, you know, we're like toddlers bopping about, okay? That's what we're going to do now, okay? All right.
We're going children, toddlers, we're going to go all the way back.
Yeah.
Embryonic state when the zygote.
We are going to be sperm. That's right. Okay, let's see where are we at here. Let's see. Let me practice my theatrics. I'll set feet like podiatric medicine to orthotics, whether or not you got that. Robotic Johnny 5, I took my book to a locksmith. To read is my top gift. Without it, I drop sick. I'm a chopstick user. Tennis shoes on a cruiser. Represent what you do, sir. Do you? You're not a loser. YouTube peruser. Plus this channel is plush. Gifts miraculous. Pressed paper tatted up. I'm a safari jungle goer who's bold like Kohler. The limbo pole goes no lower. A house brick broke my cobra, told him to slow up. A trig class wizard using So Katoa. Directing musicals, the class is Casanova. While you sit and act sarcastic, y'all cats whacking plastic. Rappers average C grades, but Nick's a B with pluses added. And yes, it's a habit, the way I memorize it. Like rabbits energized with time and time to climax. As I work to bend flows, there are constant crescendos that'll keep you leaping out your seats like I was clanging cymbals. Is your beard chopped all properly? Playing life's Monopoly? I'm glad you can shop for me. I can come off the top and freer, chill and grow like a knotted tree. Honestly, the precision looks like it's made robotically, AI. But they spotted all the oddities made as part of my prophecy. I'm a prodigy on his odyssey, the tropic breeze I gotta see. I live like winning lotteries. Paint pictures and craft pottery. The owner of his mockery. The owner of his property, making his own mockery, trying to stay true to what I do, that's my philosophy. A creation for the masses, assembly line to the Model T. Before the moonshiners bottled me, I got to breathe with mottled cheeks, jostled the teeth of all you office freaks. Coffee streaks stain the ivory. Ahoy, yells the pirates. Churlish forms of piracy. Your coworkers admire it. I hired geeks to give tweaks to the tops on my lap. Are you a bot or an app? Your lips have long been chapped. Scratch the surface and make dust. Paint the flatware. It's fairly revisionistic. I guess Nick must be a mystic. Fisted, pumped, and nodded. Twisted, bumped, and prodded. Gifted a spoon that slotted. A space to rot is allotted. And God is whatever you choose to believe in. Don't call me a heathen. This baby just started teething. Cool. Man, this is going excellent. Thank you so much. You guys just make it easy. Wow. One more time for these guys, man. Oh, woo! The only time I've done anything like this is at the Green Mill in Chicago, where it was my first time, so I didn't know. And like this one professional person, like been there many times, she was like, "I want you guys to play the Star Wars theme song when I walk up, and then you're gonna do like this, and then you're gonna do that." And I was just like, "Play something cool, man," you know. And anyways, this next one is the first writing I ever memorized that is a non-rhymer. And it's based off of a great movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. It's called Cinema Paradiso. I don't know if anybody has ever seen that. It was put out in 1988. A couple facts here. 1990, it won an Oscar for the best foreign film. It is in Italian, and it's basically about this famous director. It's one of those like starts in the present, then goes back in the past. So this director, famous film director, gets a contact and is told that basically his mentor has passed away. Would you like to come to his funeral? So then it just basically shoots back to his childhood and all the way through that. And it's an incredible movie. Raise your hand if you watched it before. Yeah. A few people. I highly recommend it. It's so good. And it's really about like the love of cinema and how it can like, I don't know, just bring community together. So let's try it out. Think of Italian, maybe? Italian spermatozoa? With a mastagiole. Okay, let's try it out. I don't know. Let's see what it is. Dreamscapes from yesterday and the days before. They replay on the inner surfaces of my eyelids. And while I'm in here, I'm the lone theater occupant. But the film reel shivers, a visual free from the circular tin housing. Who's up in that little picture window, handling the operations? It's
Is it a child being taught by an elder? Is a love for cinema instilled? I prefer sweet over salt. Oh, sweet. Sweet rains. I prefer sweet over salty, so I both in my movies and my snack choices. So I brandish containers of each. See, I have sought out this projection. But there are hints of comfort, trickles of disgust. I ease back in my recliner and turn on the seat warmer. Mentally mapping all of our connectedness to reality. We scribble, we photograph, we discover, wash, rinse, release. But now the house is packed, filled with a short crop of bluish gray and white-haired heads, each hot swab droplets. Clouds with group precipitation. And in the middle of it all, I sit there, weeping, trying my hand at containing the auditory, a torrent of rain cascades from my eyes. You know, it's all picked up along the way, much like the composition of film, you know? It's overall makeup, part animal, part mineral, part vegetable, bone, hide, gelatin. You see, everything can be broken down, and it too can be reabsorbed. And as these salted streams careen off my rounded cheeks, my taste gets tainted. Revelatory relationships appear. The drippings quivered from both my tear ducts and the projector start making sense to me now. The only question is, who's writing the script? And who is the director? That's called Sugar Drippings.
We're at 20 right now? Oh, let's do it there. Boom. Thank you so much. If you want to hear me freestyle sometime, come to Racine.
All right, next up. I wish I could tell you more about Andy, but we just met for the first time in person tonight. I know that he ferments things, which is great because I am an advocate of all forms of fermentation, and he's also a poet. He's got some books up front. I was looking through them beforehand, and they're very cool. Friends of mine are friends of Andy's and recommended he come, so I've been really looking forward to hearing what you have to do. And Andy Gricevich. Here you go.
Hi. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Nick. That was amazing. Thanks, players. That was also amazing. I'm really glad to be here. I haven't been here in about since I was writing the poems that make up this book, which I just threw together. The last time I was writing regularly was before I became a parent, which was about 6 years ago. And it's starting to happen again. But so the other day I just pulled out this journal from my desk and I looked at it and I was like, I like everything in here, which is like never the case for me. Poems last a year maybe for me, and then I'm just like, ugh. You know? But so I barely changed them, and I made this book, which has 2 titles. It's called 34 Second Favorites on the front. And then on the inside it says, these are really actually unsarcastic love poems, analysis complete. So I'm going to set my timer like a responsible person in imitation. And my 6-year-old son helped hand stitch these. He's better at it than I am. He was really into it. He has smaller fingers and better eyes. But his ear is no better than mine. All right, we're rolling. So I usually make a set list, but I didn't this time because I was being bothered by a 2-year-old the entire time. So I've got some Post-its. I'm going to flip around and read some of these things, which I think are pretty silly. And I might say some things in between that aren't in the book, if I feel like it. So, from 34 Second Favorites, these are really actually unsarcastic love poems. I did the loving kindness meditation for you, and this is the thanks I get. Too sarcastic to outlast its utterance. But here we are, walking the first dog in space, as if the stones were made of wine, queer and wild, unable to wipe the smile off her 4 days clean lake as still as air. They make a space together in the ear, and that space is full of room, a place to live in, hollows around tongues. In the language of prayer, what is all this about making out of state? When you can hear the growing of the resinous trees, sprouts seem to fall off horribly by the orange cat I think is selfish on the hassock. Blinded by the imaginary blankness of the page, its tangled bound, mirrored hoary head, the whole air will be full of creaking hymns I've been paid to play, as if they would apprehend some joy at an ideal sight. The rocks and trees, and then the return to cares and ways. Much could be said of this reason that runs through dry land, from which the point has never been escape. I/you look like strawberry shortcake, or you really do, as we never share a moon, even in combination, as the melody falls apart from the accompaniment, and arriving at a male comfort falls into fine with failure or meeting words. The neighbor's pants are out there. The past terms laid a hard time in a legitimate writing. That took lawyers, chickens, greens, and wild rice, and still it did not come to pass. It's that words have a song they maybe haven't found, and questions do the work where the truth claims have flaked off their harmony. There being kinds of song can't endure that fissure. Guys next door are quietly listening as they paint the decorate overhang next door in the gray getting cold next door. Having anybody's baby and making up the best present is probably a grouchy moment for the way time's wing flees to sleep. Ms. Ella Telephone will not be singing for us tonight. There's a demo indented to end corruption in the anti-corruption industry. It's a cooking demo. All eggs. Legs. This one was written in collaboration in a moving vehicle with my partner Nora and her daughter Yevka. There's the shade of the moon, and then there's eggs behind the moon. That's how people put the stuff in the thing. So far that's inaccurate, thank goodness. What happened was the wet blue building fell from the blue sky out of perfect camouflage and into super minimalist shoes, as well as numerous beliefs hard to bear, or hard to lack beans, bees, street trees, I know like the back of my ear, itches. Who even cares about nutrition when we have a pile of healthy skulls beavers regard with extreme and understandable skepticism? This unfortunately non-beaver can only say for itself, I don't work. I only sleep and seethe while hills steel themselves with some embarrassment. I just told you I'd adopt your steel dirt, but it's too satisfying to do anything because of the evil imagination of no weather that works so diligently for other planets. We're almost done with planets, but here are some whispers and suggestions. The moons of Septum, Alpha, Custard Alpha, Nova Minor, Headlight, all new, all shipping in the near enthusiastic future, in the near enthusiastic sky, available to the lowest bidder.
Nice.
How about it is your second favorite? Don't settle, settler. Just drive relentlessly in white cars with very hideous headlights towards the second best. Maybe even of a superior quality. Probably no boss has brought these things together. Nobody has tried this boss on for incremental raises, for lingers after miles, which is a great non-decision. Let's consider the thought that hides the whole deal and itself and makes it scary. A scary twin to the quiet spot we can't find that ratchets down on trying to think it every time. But take it out of the question. It's easy. Did somebody say that already? Yeah, but under very different circumstances, which we'd have to get back to if we want to catch up with the dying, not to numb ourselves too hastily or lose sight of how to spell anything. Instead, let's head south on or along the river and not grow or develop rust. That'll leave space for time, not both, or a hint of what you meant, simmering for very long. A question that can only be put in terms that don't make sense, and any present enough to make sense of any refusal of its answer, like a pig tells me jokes that put me to sleep in the theater of operations and pretend to get them until I become very confused about how a given song got taken into my head, which is sore, and maybe the soreness summoned the tune while I wasn't thinking. I can't even count the one. I can steep it, and I can hold up the rock uniformly, backing up the ridge for the sake of a perspective entirely dependent on dying to climb. Please don't imitate the moon. If you do, I know you'll disappear too soon. Well, you're here, can you remind me what this means? Your orange in your sheen makes your health seem so well, somehow. But just send them all to hell. Find something to sell to the people on the road. Here's our problem, thank goodness. Unpredictable emotional singularity versus previously inconceivable novel combination. Shit. Until that point, everything once done has been purely innuendo. You like yeast growing on top of your back. That's a body-like attitude, which you just happen to wear well, sweet. For Leonard Peltier, for some reason, that I made up in the car. There's every reason to write something for Leonard Peltier. What prevents a coma instantiates a comma. Let our standing corrupt the words in a different way and heal the land from the absence of transmissibility. Tangentile. That's tangential. We make up words, you get them wrong. To stay illegitimate, no one has the right to turn inclusion into belonging. I'll show you how we can do with little action. You can put that on next time. Buy some skunk cabbages. Is this one of those indulgences not permitted under a regime? We can't even read an aleatory exception. Tune it in us. I'm not sure how much anything was ever discovered as a main course. Or why potatoes were ever not as funny as they do. That would be psychologically damaging to cook. Whatever you always wanted, reheated the image, which is great, but I hope not while this is browsing. It's surprising, but unfortunately convenient. If I call this strike, that would do something. A bow to the pen and paper hides cold, soft, pulsing light. The old laptop's pretense to life. A silence that makes a forest grove. Among near houses and nearer graves, where the scant birds, softening bugs, sound in space. We're in the clearing of a deep sadness we'll need to share if we're to end up anywhere else. I, the long lines of the dog left next door, open the evening primrose. How very cultural, I think. So many nuts in boxes and bags, acorn, walnut, hickory, butternut, a day to seek oats. But in here, in qualities of quiet, cleaning, calls, that's all coming up. I can set my legs in many ways to write. I can learn rocks and unlearn every cousin to the line. Jogger I may see again and never meet. Extended crunch of gravel. This morning a laughing debate. Who gets the chocolate milk, drinks chocolate milk? A bird in the ash and clucks of it. Quiet human movements at the time between rains, as I keep saying into the spaces between. The knowing and denial of the new. Did I say something about hope? Food started when the inner part didn't know its shadow, the learning to star chowder. Every time the big water bug somehow made its way out of the wax box, I didn't see it. Articles declared small boxes of pieces for nails and nuts, one from the tip jar, one from another writing, the life of my aunt and the whole family, who have so sadly asked about the devil big enough to make for so much killing. There are rivers, cold lakes, and northern shores. Do not waste time away from boats and books. Go inside and know. Does everything have to be doubled? And if so, now? And does it need to be language that does the doubling? Why can't it come third? Am I really in the space of a question I don't yet understand? Why was I going to walk out when this is done? Does this have to be the third? How about it is your second favorite? Why think of difference as if 100 bosoms? Just cut a piece of cake, is what I always say. Always. But our souls were in our names. Uh-oh, eraser. The question is the setting. Boat, dinghy, dining car, less elsewhere than before, by super lumpen justice sufferers, held apart by imagination. Over yonder, a god slaps his thighs and kids reinstate control, returning from laughter to mayhem, a serious time for the quotes around the quote undocumented. We were released by the sense of the immediate past as a place into which events vanish. We trained our hands to be thrown up with the fun balloons. The mute ospreys happily lost track of the point where the rails appeared to converge behind us, but we were distracted by the dry mirage. Weather being a kind of time that sets up a space unflattering as a lint ball in the navel, muffling offered pinions. Those who would have hacked into a res set to touch on tents, averting swinish dismantling of government putty. A sweeping taste for othering makes for relations. Dunes shift underfoot as surely as unpredictably as long causes hum under moon cycles. Eyes glued to the certainty of some resemblance with listening to a civil society to mine. See, decisions. Strange to see. All that was related, loosely, fluttering in space, which, when you are gone, will turn false and taste like you. Now it wasn't any of us then. I'll retain the claim that moist little skull cap and onion skin fell off my head, but after that, they went on their own with my friendship and admiration. A poor animal finds out it isn't water. A poor present so dependent on managing delay. All the people of your body description get this shit, but also get to keep it for a minute that repeats endlessly. Time comes back when the great leaks waves wick under your feet, and the moment comes when it's no longer possible to envy any of your actors. When's that? These are also short. I don't give you any time to develop. That sounds great.
That was just like a thing I was having in my head. I was like, what like wonderful parameters. And just like follow the poem, and then when the poem's like, that's it.
Okay. I'm glad. This one's slightly longer. The intolerable inertia in you on such half-moon nights is okay. A candelabra mistaken for an inky oblong, though, is consistently and inconsistently embarrassing. You ate in Denmark in 1540 and chose a rose petal, which sounded out at 1450 bus tip after the most soft swallowed. Water upstairs runs through the pipes in slow, spaced-out ways. They write in sand, later for tap dancers, when the monks write. That's the way I heard it through all of whatever year people were telling me about those things, when things were antsy and spry. I can't believe the price. It's not a true statement, but to say nothing is everything live. I caught a scent of the whole last winter with you, mostly recorded on the hard floor. The friends, desires are not the same, right as if it already happens. Commonalities suture love between successive addresses of classmates, loving a word, assuming agreement about where the hell anyone is, why is it in the ditch if you left. Oh, you were out wintering between succotash and hybrid neutrons and isotopes, or for calendar days replacing flowering longitude with mulch and spurts sounds nice. The egg question is really not comparing apples to groceries. Birthday begins a few pages from the edge, for translators only. Oh God, I just dashed off an odyssey when some headlong and delectable passion reflected back our base tenderness we see as the other's home when I rolled your own car into the ravine. One more little one. Here has to rise from the watery grave, difficultly composing on a sort of arch. Everything a big we wanted slides off of, sending far ripples, implications, the waves broaden, become a whole pile of strategies, get less worth it. Invoke the riddle ensemble of processes, invoked when you twist the point, too fast for an ironic twist, to can a message within the final, unexpected act. Thank you so much.
Thanks, that was really fun. Next, we've got Timothy Kloss. Tim is, among other things, the host of Poets Mondays at Linneman's every week. Starts at 7:30 with signups starting at 7. I was honored to be the featured reader there about a week and a half ago. It's the longest running open mic in Milwaukee and one of the longest running ones in the country, as far as I understand. When did it start?
Well, Poets Monday started in 1990 at Cafe Melange, and I started being the host in 2000. So this is our start of our 26th year at Lindeman's.
Yeah, so Tim has been a great host of that for many years and is just a super supportive host in person, and I've valued his friendship and advice in recent months as I've gotten to know him, and it's my pleasure to have him perform next.
Thank you. It's a real privilege and honor to be among all these poets and musicians. This is called Breonna Taylor, Say Her Name. COVID nurse, struck by a police bullet, struck by another police bullet, struck by yet another police bullet, struck by even another police bullet, struck, oh God, no, by another police bullet. Struck by, yes, God knows, another police bullet. Black lives materialize atop the utmost jazzy edge of emergent seas. Whitecaps a laugh to the bank. Wait. Another police bullet struck her. The police had gone to the wrong address. Breonna Taylor, say her name. This is a style and taste. How better to enhance the already supercharged atmosphere? A pre-dawn sauntering beginning midway, the second week of July. While lightning flashes brighten the dark coast of thunderheads cast across a free mad sky, and glowering leonine snarls and rattlesnake crackles, lumber burdens of musculature streaking unwind their sudden presences, in frightful closeness, fast hard upon a lull, long intoned by sustained, muffled, tympanic rolling, and low, hollow kettle drum thudding, signifying vast, even past void-filled distances, that to vocalize heart-melt strains drawn from one's own quiver of anthemic poesy. Vibrantly, a nubile wood nymph hoisting her limber haunches about one's hips, we agree. It is an absolute definite must rank right up there above any classic or free-form flashes of eminent magnitude, leaving that fancy as a fabulous given. Can we forget memory for a moment and look around without preconceived notions? Not if someone suggests it, no. We must lapse into so tot-like trances despite ourselves, and thus delight in shapes and colors for which we give no name, but only rejoice in the glee of our innocent, pure encounter. Of course, I've twisted more than one ankle, and have wrenched my blessed knee while engaging such primal sensation, when my balance lost its earthly foothold, as a gopher's portal caught me unawares, or a molehill tripped me up, or a traffic-directed signpost cracked my noble face between the eyes. Downcast but wholly attendant upon, Paleolithic incisors perceived along the rain-splattered walk, glistening party-colored at the bottom of a mound of lawn that rounded up to a garden, a bed of snapdragons which, employing the stranger's privilege, smelled like grape popsicles. Yummy! Style and taste. You know, it's always a treat to have Nick Ramsey at a poetry reading. He's one of the great poetic personalities that I've ever met, and he's such an integral force to our area and also to the Racine and Kenosha area. He's always bringing up people to Publix Monday for Racine and whereabouts, and it's always special to have him, and it was a real, it was just a great moment when he and Nicole got married back in 20. And so it's great to have you here. This is the first time I saw Andrew, so very good. And I'm really looking forward to Brenda and Roberto, excuse me. So anyway, it's really nice. This is, by the way, this is my dad's jacket. So even though it's spring, I just felt like wearing my dad's jacket. So this is called I, who calls the cell a reasonable well-fellow sigh, as a chalky three-quarter visage removeth holy hat and vaporous muffler, leaving them sleek in eastern coterie, or some such doubtful rackham to hang low, ever reshaping the regnant flowing fabric by the forest protruding peep of Philomel, measured for dawn's cloak, at her preternatural discretion, keeping her lark's purring direction above mention, so that cold face peering for the witching time pitch of a lonesome promontory with a view to haunt the Californian coast concretely, or a secreted midway island exotica neglects the bland dress of gray-hued accompaniment and ignores the enchanted singer's violet blue lament. I cannot stay the moon, nor any clouds of earth longing and wrath, where the lunatic fringes balder-dashed off as so many used beamings reflect high-tail lights from Asgard, whose sovereign sage enraged wages, prince, valiant, muse, ruling the solar system. We're alone always, even coming inside a body I barely know. It feels good. Silken glide, a pleasurable warm glow, and oh, the heavenly afterglow, there into vacation. For all our related treating, such joys last fleeting, 'tis a vainglorious evasion from god-awful truth, haply for to bend more crucially through. Yo, very precious rendezvous, and feel one the other, each own immortal solitude. So I say, I sing it to you, I that am at half many a sif-tending flower sniffed, tongued, fingered, pricked, teasing the South China Seas, hazing in Amazon jungle, enlightening Istanbul alleys, civilizing Tigris and the Euphrates, going down in the Fox River and Gobi Desert valleys, eclipsing alien rays around South Polar ice-capping shanties, and mounting back up to the tip of the Andes. I. Vernissage is a French word for varnishing room, and it's used as the word for a private showing before an art opening. So this is called dancing ovation on a standing reception for the silent world of art. This yet unvanquished vernissage whereabouts into we've been led or tossed off or swept away, or ourselves plunged, 'tis no well of despair from which, at swan song plash, we might be lifted by the promissory pail of patience, touchingly tethered evict the hemp of humanity to the crank of conscientious stability. Oh no, we're in the gutter of utter gravity, a cavity which trains downward to the sewers, in verses of survival, revival of the monkey, king-queen misfits, it's who must mutate when music by the master, a stirring up the natural, a gradual re-envisioning, supervision of such deeps, hard leaps from degradation, irradiating desire, aspiring the blissful, whistling free, then wistful in bondage, an iron age of bounding planks in chains of everlasting change. What? We have achieved crystallization of thought as is. What that is an utterance we record emerges from and have wanted to resurge in this profound silence, or gratifying repository for a highly lively mind, likewise a jolt of astonishment to the sluggish one, from each that appears less comical than the fairest description on arrhythmic crack. From dismantled lice, the voice of God, the vacuum come to play the wind upon the stretching edges of a river or a tree, and underarms of a lady poised to supply the bottom in a chamber ensemble. Their head in space nurtureth, encourages the nicely proportionate gesture of pluck, strum, stroke, resolutely, spiritedly commandeered yet conveyed, instilling prescience of divinity. Such doth the turn of a leaf, flagging its veins about their lifeline, depending from arching cord the scrappy twig, and twittering countless brethren on that finest feathers, sparest tendrils, affording softest clusters of harmony to the broad-bodied melodic, the heavy trunk, the upward swell outward, the characteristic bending, smooth chase, the pretty passages, steamy breath, a final pronouncement. So too the shimmer overnight this directional difference of water course. If the blinding light must be signaled only by its effects, so we are limited, not just by the frame, but ultimately to expression of the abstract. Still, that's not bad thing. A primary aspect, forming the artist's job, rests with such polish upon this its favored facet, on point before the golden bar, to emphasize the obvious. Dancing ovation on a standing reception for the silent world of art. This is the sonnet to your smile. Persons real rarely impress me as do the models for old masters, whose splendid raiment donned, or simple peasant lack of largesse. To pose in quiet reflection, or suspended amid disasters, or disrobed to bed in Our Lady's chamber, or on the outskirts, sponging laundress toilet along a pastoral stream, tortured by uncouth embrace, or resplendent in romantic slumber, farming the native earth, enwrapped upon the sea-coastal dream. Lo, the infinite shades which couch the thumb, while the nostril sfumato inspires, as the palm the discordant apple cradles, or fingers the lyre strum, or the ankles awash of volcanic fires. But if I try aiding my master's contours fall and rise, then I see the light of the gods close and open everyday eyes. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. That was beautiful. Normally at this point, we take a short break. There are a lot of people asking about wanting to look at some of the books, and all of these fine poets have books available at the front counter as well. So let's take a 15-minute break if that's cool, and then we'll start back up with the last two in 15 minutes. Thanks again, everyone. All right, we're gonna get started again. Welcome back. Originally, we had another poet scheduled to take part in this today, and unfortunately, she had an emergency medical situation come up earlier this week. Chelsea, but hopefully she will be part of it in the fall. But I'm excited and honored to have Brenda Cárdenas join us. She is former UW, well, I guess Professor Emeritus would be the term of English at UWM. She has published 2 books, both of which are available here. Former Milwaukee Poet Laureate and current Wisconsin Poet Laureate, among a great many other things. Brenda Cárdenas.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I love being at Woodland Pattern. And everybody who went before me, you guys all just rocked. You were amazing. Really great. So I'm going to jump around in the different books and some other pieces. All right. I'm excited. Okay. I'm going to start with a piece titled, If All of History Were Stuffed in a Jar. If all of history were stuffed in a jar, could you count the antelope eyes and owl talons, the suffocating worms, moths, buffalo staining the plains? Could you divine colonizers gouge lust for the hustle and chase? Busloads of gold, their filthy blankets, their wheezing Anthropocene. Would you shake the jar? Rattle its plastic potpourri, its acrylic Arrock's teeth? Could your ears have ever anticipated the blast in uranium? That the word greenhouse would evoke gas chambers? The code that conifers would create to speak with their deciduous neighbors? Secret talk like drumbeats. Just think. I might have watched through the distance glass our final solar eclipse. You might have pried open the lid and stolen an amulet you thought you could use as a shield. Flood or famine? How often have we stopped in the middle of a storm? Let rain trickle off the tips of our noses, down our tattooed throats. Watched it drench a lone red bicycle, splashing spokes. Listened to it play timpani on a cabin's tin roof. No one home but the sad and small, huddling under its ping. We've leapt enough years to know the tender in blues, how precarious the rivers flow. We've stared into the sunken eye of a cenote, searching for blind eel, ancient bones. Stumbled into oily puddles, begging motors to cease their grumbling. February's haunting thaws, its squalls, swamp ponds, jewel branches, sequin spider webs, drowned ditches, while we feed geese who never left. Oh, agua, 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 our dopamine. Will you wet our cracked lips, wash our feet, or retreat to caves where your wounded fog licks the floor, searching for you? Thank you. This is for my hubby over there, Roberto. is called Tranquilo. Pumpkins somersault across lawns lit by fireflies. Scintillating music, crickets, vertiginous missives for sunflowers who spill sleepy heads to seed. Tranquilo, mi cariño. I hear your griot heart cleaving to the moon. Your hymn will be singed hibiscus in la madrugada. History will empty its silences from stoneware that pours a dune of dust at your feet. Cascades grapes, ginger melons, cassia tea. Feast. Someday we will all swim into Paleolithic pixels anyway. Let go the cruciferous grime and paint with me this elusive magenta morning. Thank you. Okay, this one's a lot longer, so you guys can get into a groove more, okay? This poem I wrote, I wrote it, I didn't write it when it was happening, but it's about what happened in 2010 it comes from when the Tucson Public School District took all of the books by Mexican Americans and Native Americans out of the schools and would not allow them to be taught and took them out of the libraries. And then and they made a law to do that. It was overturned later, but it pissed me off so much that I wrote this poem, which is all a collage poem using all lines and language from the poets whose books were taken out of the schools. So it uses only their language with a few ands and buts and things that I threw in there. Yeah. And it's called Because We Come from Everything. Because we come from everything, from zero, from a doubt slender as a hair, from a land of travelers, wanderers, and its geography of scars, from frayed edges and muddy hems, from the border sealed tight as an envelope, Meskin-Dixon line. Because we come from Operation Wetback, Operation Peter Pan, Operation Gatekeeper, floodlights, sensors, infrared, spy videos, night vision camera, topo maps, helicopters, and holding cells. From sharp-shooting goose-steppers round every corner, from alien gods and alien names and alien eyes and wild alien tongues, from the barbed wire politics of stupidity. Because we come from a ship that will never dock, from a parallel universe, double helix, synchronized sigh, the infinite division del secreto terrible, the screaming sun. Because we come from steel mill smoke and silt slaughtering the sky, a matchbox house beneath the shadow of the freeway, windows so small you'd think they were holding their breath, and roaches so big they look Pleistocene. Kids hopscotching on the sidewalk and a dusty, unpaved road called Sal Si Puedes. Because we come from the geometry of disaster, schools torn down and sold for scrap, bristled restrictions and Chuco hieroglyphics, the gash sewn back into a snarl, crushed cigarette in a glass. Because we come from linoleum and formica, from rooms boarded shut and rented to strangers en una esquina aparte de los demás, hole in the ceiling, kids on milk crates, the hammerhead of responsibility, tin plate face down on the floor. We come from brujas, chavalas, carnales, cabrones, rucas, locas, comadres, los vatos, los perros y los perdidos, una vieja y sus recuerdos, eternal ciphers with voices bright as chrome. Because we come from every cell, every follicle, every nerve, the petals of the body, an orchid of blood, mapped birthmarks, knowing and unknowing. Because we come from museums and waiting rooms, hostile territory and collateral damage, because we come from the out-of-service area, from another bad dream, a bowl of beans, because we come from El Rascuache, Tex-Mex with a Brooklyn accent, Santeria Tupperware party, magnet car statuettes and kitsch calendar art, at the flea market, La Segunda, from the word cachivaches, and La Loteria, a world loaded on each back. Because we come from everything on top of everything, from unbending dreams and a long line of eloquent illiterates, the throat that must clear itself and apologize each time it speaks, a sound like swallowing mud, because we come from El Camino de la Mestiza, the path of red and black ink, from linguistic terrorism and literary archaeologists, from each of the stars' stories, because we come from a green flutter, the hummingbird's throat, a chorus resounding for acres. Because we come from dichos, cantos, cuentos, from the spoken word, the seed of love in the darkness. This one I've read a lot here, so a lot of you have heard it before. I apologize for that, but I thought it might go nicely with music. It's a poem written in response to or in conversation with a piece of graffiti art by the Los Angeles artist Chaz Bojorquez. And the piece is called Placa Roll Call, both the piece of art and the poem. And Chaz Bojorquez said, if the city was a body, graffiti would tell us where it hurts. And this block would shout, nos dice un chingazo, cabrón. Mira esta cara rota, these baton cracked ribs, this black and blue street dizzy con gente. Blades, Kiki, Larry Snow, Enrique Cani, Elton King, David Kelly, Jeff Raton, Chaz. Los de aquí, los de abajo. This roll call won't be silenced, not by Glock, not by chokehold. This, our temple of runes, our tomb, the glyphic curve and flow, calligraphic code writ acrylic. This, our relic, our scroll unrolled in catacombs, our flecks of subtext still buzzing después de que vayamos con la pelona. Que lucha, loco. Then, baila con nosotros to the aerosols, maraca y hiss, al punk en español's furious sweat. Hang your head out the window y dale un grito tan lleno de duende that it cracks the pavement. Summons our dead to dinner. Turn the tonal kaleidoscope, then pause. Catch your breath so you don't miss the illegible moment where all the mystery lives. There, decipher that. Thank you so much. Gracias. Okay. So this was also written kind of in conversation with art. Have any of you ever seen the work of El Anatsui? El Anatsui? Oh my God. It's all made from garbage, milk tin lids and bottle caps at dumps, and he chains these tiny pieces of metal all together and makes these huge wall hangings. And they're draped all different ways, and the curator is always part of the art because the curator gets to decide how to drape it and how to put it. So he, looking at his work, and then also the Border Arts Workshop that Guillermo Gomez Peña was part of years ago. This is in there too. Okay, so it's called Ars Resistencia. Fish bottle caps from heaps of distillery waste. Sift trash for milk tin lids. Twist, crush, chain link them to each other like thousands of small arms locking. Drape them into 15 by 30 foot seas of kente cloth. Tapestry, grass glass swayed in wind, speckled with red wings, blue silver agama. Do this in communion with others. Urge them to reshape landscape, shift peace and foes. Call it salvage, reuse, synergetic upcycle. Call it recover and reclaim. Call it puro rasquache way. Do this in memory of network, warp and weft. Twist and distort texture, strike the loom. Do this in memory of painted deserts we walked through in a pre-wall, wireless world rolling before us like a sea. Make yourself so small, the cuffs fall from your wrists. Then thread the warp, climb, crawl. Drape your dinner table a la frontera. Set one end acá in Mexico, el otro allá. Prepare pozole with all the fixings. Invita a tus amigos de ambos lados. Claro, Adelita will ask Paul to pass the heat. Los jalapeños y rábanos, por favor. Pero la migra will be waiting, watchando, y cuando Paul's pinky sneaks over the line, they may not let him back in, he'll have to swim or sprint. The least you can do is bring him some aguacate, un poquito de cilantro, show us your fancy footwork, you're disappearing. Now you're here, ahora. Storm tomato fields, spinning fricatives, snapping toxic vines, slingshot plosives at orange groves, dropping citrus into the blistered hands, reaching to pick it up the ante. Plant your syllables on picket lines, pace, plant yourselves in public space, refuse to flinch, plant feet so firm, will take root, plant will so wide, ears sprout ancestral maize. Eat of this body unengineered. Do this in memory of corn, potatoes, papaya, squash, tomatoes, cotton, canola, soy, beets, zucchini, cane. Do this in memory of milkweeds, martyrs, honeybees. Do this in memory of water, your last sip. Paint the winter white howl. Inscribe the undivided O. Sound the voiced and voiceless stops of a hunger strike, of boycotts, broken shackles. They collapse with their midnight carcajas, waking us from sleep. This is called In the Understory. In the understory, acorn caps and scaly leaves, a lichen feast and buttery moss, the caraway seed fallen from a hiker's ride, quiver with every step. What you wish to document is under the bridge, where the blue-black mystic pulses, and no matter how carefully they dredge the creek, they will never find your friend. But the windshield will surface and the currents surge. Beneath the story, beneath the bridge, beneath the truth's bed, nerve like paper lost in the brain, you steady the dowsing rod that searches not for water, but for that feckless beast eating your tongue as if it were rare meat. Beneath the grammar is a fork in the sentence that turns toward unrest. Don't tell. It barely had a pulse, but the trees fed unfiltered oxygen, and now it breathes. I have two more poems. This next one is called Mercy. Uncorset my fat suit and bury me in a chorus of strawberries. A forest haunted by cicada shells left clinging to toadstools. Let bear paws mix me in a handful of honey, should bees still swarm this noxious earth. Give wolves license to muddle me like a sugary cocktail or a effusive stew. No box, I beg, you to strip me of this red nose, yellow cloud clown suit, and kayak me out to the aquamarine cemetery where fall cell phones and lighters, water shoes and dimes, earrings and locked chests full of secrets. Let my spent shell suck like a suckerfish on this dumpster and clean its sullied floor. Have mercy on the home we have poisoned. Blue body we have boiled like the soup we are destined to become. Have mercy. And add a bit of mint before you wrap me in clean linen if you must. Do not fasten my shroud, but let it flutter in the wind's whistle that carries me to the velvet ear of a dog. Okay, next one. Thank you. Last one. This is called Against Insularity. And don't we do that now?
Yes.
Let's push air into our splenetic bubbles until they contain brimming worlds we can plunge into. Blood and orange skies tinged with lavender beyond the horizon we've never traversed. Across the line we've never transgressed. Time to purge our stampeding litanies, pistol-whipped plans sutured to impossible futures, manacled to metal desks and manicured lawns. Be with me a forest of deciduous trees, lizard wrinkled, century of rings rising to silver-streaked clouds. All our granular wreckage, our tin pan scraps, are bursting with viridian timpani. Light the cosmic fire, feed it with lungs the size of ship's bells. Spark celestial cannons. They will cluster into amethyst constellations like the lilacs we were born to be. Gracias. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Right, our final poet of the night, Roberto Harrison. I'm just going to read part of the bio online rather than trying to remember things. Roberto has published 8 books, I believe, including Tropical One and Amidon, 2 Tropical One books. I won't list all of them, they're up front. There are 8 books on Litmus Press, Green Lantern Press, I think he did some on City Lights recently, Neon Editions, Amidon, as well as many chapbooks. He edited the poetry journal Crayon from 1997 to 2008, was also the editor of Bronze Skull Press, which published over 20 chapbooks, including the work of many Midwestern poets. Most recently, he served as co-editor for the Resist Much, Obey Little inaugural poems to the Resistance Anthology. He was the Milwaukee Poet Laureate from 2017 to 2019, and is also a visual artist. The book you all saw Brenda reading from Trace, that was his artwork on that, as well as at least one of the Tropical One books, right? Yeah, a couple of them, yeah. He lives in Milwaukee with his wife, Brenda Cárdenas.
Speaking. What does he made me move? To allow the streams to feel like blood, song for the birds, for the hummingbird night. My body standing to allow the discussion of the number. My body is remain outside the extra darkness. When I speak, there is another to stand within. There is another to remain outside in the water. Of all the above ground monuments, I do not have a single white flag for surrender. I do not know what the symbol is to return again. To the faltering display of human arrogance. My revolver does not turn, and I do not become like the river that we know. I do not become like the fine gold that another planet makes us move around in. In the exception to winter, I become again when I am not. I cannot speak again to the others as we also live in the night. And the goal is nothing but shimmering past the ancient black hills. I remove the gold from my consciousness. I remove the tension that we must endure at the top of our seats. The center of the night, when my heart is to be removed on any other planet, to become again and speaks, to become again a detriment, to symbolic nature as a force of undoing moves within me. As I now see us bloom in the water like blood. The animals finally, they know that we will not survive in the letters, that we will not see again what the word is in the mouth, and that the mouth was become again outside of each channel. I walk through the mouth of the night. As I wait for flowers to the fire, I do not know what silhouette will be. Traces of shards, the animals of social living. I stand within the animal quarantines of my books, my dismissal. drums, the punctuation of nearness, display the offices of the whole oceans. The heart we see remains in negligent palpitations. So on with no outside. The patches of frozen walls become a gateway to nature. We move again in the night, set to protect its own limits through impossible loneliness. The lives of what defines us, together in refuge, as we decide the words to end, an entrance to nowhere, formed by the hidden deep. Not found. Even when the sun comes down, there exists a shattered emblem of the night. Without intention, animals do not know violence. And the capture of my screams does not undo what I have become. I climb into the impossible. When reasonable emotions remain outside the light, when problems seem to magnify their own delivery, even when the friendship of my night has followed me to 7, I become the shadow first, and then my nightfall exists to break the monitors that we now see. The keyboard is not found here. The escape from my resemblance knows that we announced our disease, and the never-ending discovery. And every number of the disease knows will harvest energy. And every animal that we become, the animals are different now. The animals have been completed, but the night they deliver remains the same. As I am light in the shadow, my nightfall delivers everything that I cause. Showers my completion to the earth. And the earth is my light now as others fall beside us in difficulty. And as we shelter knowledge through form frames of imagination, and each of our attentions we remain outside the villages. The villages now know that we have seen grown, and that the knowledge has departed for the cost of living, and that the travel has moved beyond. I attend to separation. The separation of the mind has been delivered to the tables where they are, remain attuned to the ancient fires. So, we remain outside the frames of production of the moment. We remain to find ourselves inside the spark of knowledge. And the processes we have rubbed to build themselves to the direction to see what we have done. And in every motion we were there. And in every tree we were not counted. Each conversation was a watch to disappearance. As we know, the animals are gone. But here we are without the screen. Here we are without each other. In our quest for retribution. We have lost the night, but not the morning. And we stand alone with our night now, in the many different waves of ocean bodies, far beyond relation. To the sea inside the 7, as many doors remain. Egg launched towards the sky. I draw the outlines of the ancient texts as we move to the laughter of symbolic steel. We undo the separation each moment of the night and find that walking does not stop us in the weather. Our cycles is ease, unknown to Western lakes in the ascension. Of the mountain fields as we now see the sky. And the clock darkness forms its foundation to tables of my unknown faces. And they folded the weather of my secret amplitude. Then behaved with others in nature. Finally, themselves to the space of snow. In tunnels we find ourselves inside the numbers, hidden by the inner people of the fire. As we articulate our own discoveries of patterns, we wander through, and wonder more. We surface to the open, to find the shelters of the sea glass, woven into terminals, protected to roses. As we already make refuge, I struggle in the moment to find the others with their hearts of earth. My many trails of the surfaces of completion, they hold to temporary relation. As we bring the warmth close to mine, the body forms the end to the head, moving into the existence of the sky. Our limbs do not compute the night. Our many worlds become stars instead of fire. As our destiny of dreams begins, we see no true or false. Inside, continuing the night, we swim. Subtitled. In a night without targets was refined, except you should start away of you. It does not complicate the earth for signals. And every aim to capture ourselves to show us appreciation. As the ocean beneath exploits our memory. A memory of implementation as woven into forest. As the night sky becomes another color. And every sequence we disturb ourselves to remember the night, to absorb the morning, to delete your dreams. Our attention will be like the waves of rain, apart from the mirror perceptions to war. As we remain from the same sound, our patterns will winter. Remember the songs of the empty scrolls, kicking away the obstacles, the dogs that are free. I re-enter the atmosphere. I cannot blame the sea for the fire. The birds remember the path to the light. As I am inside the earth, my feet spill out my mouth of my dreams. My dreams in the hammock makes me sleep with the sea inside. And every word that adorns my silence leads to certitude of my belonging. Once I was carried by the winds of the air. My answer was an engine, and my color could not be numbers. I floated through music toward the death, and my lament could not find the ground. All relations was wrong, but now the computer has lost me. I swim through the sea of complex that have not made me born, except the semblance of my attachments. I gained the night inside. I went without words to the music. What found me is where I lost. But now my eyes are opened, and I see the fire approach me. I see the smoke without waiting in the night. I offer myself with no errors. I list my belonging in text, and I say, for now that I know each direction, I soften my painted face to the others, and then my world has become again. Here in the morning of truth, value. Here in the morning of my own song. Forgiveness turns into rage. Friends do not know what service might not suggest. The undoing of motion to the wind eclipses each face. But the links of the animal letters, they were close, but then the hyena came, scrolling. The door was closed, a line on up the tree, killing its tenderness with fear, scrolling to extremes, scrolling to next mind, asking the life to be more. I am no person. Break open the shadow that stands, electrify the past to the primary ancestors. I die and I do not see them. My blood does not exist in the relative, but I find stars of birth in the night to equip my mouth without memory. Dreams to which time, constellations, I share them like the joking relations I have not seen outside my circle. I cannot imagine that my words stand in front of me will seek to inhabit the daylight. While I remember that I must not turn to the soaring lights in the night to be here. I must become the wings. Not as an owner, but as a story. When I am born amongst the others, transformed papers, amongst the animal spirits, in my own light, through my own shadows, many faces and interfaces were lost. The super blooms of technology, many were gone to log out. But through my radio, I go to the ancient past. I go partly to turn to the water, to discover the ancestors' firms and the fighting jaguars. But I am no thing. I am no source. I am no path. My screen is a background. Darkness is the hills with cover. My body is left self-planted with the people to deliver myself after troubles and fuse my own moments to arrive. I am not recognized for I am the client of disaster and misfortune. I am the one single being that turns to the oceans, passes around, within the now, deleted from maps. I now see that my home is not shattered, invisible as I am to confuse my freedom, then escapes to return to the others. My night now belongs to the hands of my escapes, as I am precariously breathing an outline of shadows and wakings to see that adorns me with horns and talent. That my mind has evolved to become in front of the others. I secrete at every password that my longing is gone. And I stand once again with the spirits that I grow through the night. In the morning that I slowly stand to begin with the first feelings. The dreams of snow and fire. I burn through remaining self and survive to be here in the night of the light. Disasters in the blood of the darkness that sees above the palms through the screens. The vehemence of nature, the cry droplets within my networks. I tear through the lines of regression, proposal fires, and I pull apart the bones of escape. As my memory manifests, possesses our oxygen. Many days were long since we moved to tell ourselves, company without interest. The following for every indelible moment does not share my deliveries. I do not allow the human separation of water. The gates of her beautiful face from a pattern of circles. I cannot walk without the throng of exception, making more sounds for everything we see. I cannot walk without the ropes of life themselves to deliver me to the mutinous of elemental forces. I cannot walk around the temptation of negligence gives me to belong to the ocean home. I can see that I am independent of my freedoms, that they offer their tangles like the rabbit does in the morning, without its own folded hand. All shattered as my hostess is on fire. I cannot replace the ghostly nature of yesterday. My fatal face cannot equip me with righteousness. I am free to leave the past or not, according to the forgotten sentence. But I can speak as the ever-after longing that I was not there for you, that I was not for you, an ancestral life that belongs to no one. You are home to exist, and embrace the absence. You are home to shadow my nature. You are home to be without desperation of worthlessness on the ground. Because I am the world is here. I am the ghost of the coming, but you never knew. To the lines of approach. And I sing the disappearances, the returns, the beings of nature.
Thank you, Jay, for inviting me.
Property announcements. Want to improvise for the announcements? Sure. All right. Let's do it.
I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. I want to thank all five poets. I want to thank Nick Ramsey. I want to thank Andy. I want to thank Kloss. I want to thank Brenda, Roberto. I want to thank the musicians, Pat, Mantel. We do this the third Thursday of every month at 7 o'clock. Every time I come here, it's host one of these. I do with a giant smile. I'm grateful for the creativity that everyone brings to here and for everyone that comes and supports it. So thank you all for being here as well. The upcoming concerts. Next month, the third Thursday of April, the Tim Russell Trio from Madison will be coming. Tim is a long-time friend of us, and they'll be here performing. Following that, my dear friend and mentor, Pat Reinholz. I don't think this series would exist without the things that Pat did to make improvised music in Milwaukee in the 90s and early 2000s especially. And the curated music that he's been here over the years as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. And in May, Nicholas Ewert, I talked to Nicholas about performing. He asked me to join us. So I'll be playing duo with Nicholas Ewert in May, followed by another dear friend and mentor, probably the other person responsible for a lot of the improvised music that happens today in Milwaukee. Steve also playing cello. Thank you everyone again for coming. Hopefully see you. In the meantime, all of these poets have books up front, so you can support them and read them. Thanks, everyone.